Welcome to the space between us. We got Luck, we got Beat Owl, we got our First Lady Asia, and it's your boy Z. And so, welcoming you guys to the space today, we are going to be talking about stress management, what causes us stress, what makes our skin crawl, hairs on the back of our neck stand up. And we're gonna just go ahead and go right into it. So I'll just start. Something that is like I know I'm stressed is I sleep a lot. Usually, I'm a night owl. I like to stay up. But I'm also a morning person. But if I'm just froggy and like I just feel like I can't really, you know, catch up, is when I feel like I'm the most stressed. And literally like my hands start getting more sweaty because I feel like I'm always on the clock. Um, and yeah, I mean, do you guys feel any type of way about that? Like, do you have any of those like you can't catch up type stress?
So you have the feeling that you can't catch up,
Yeah.
and then since you go by it by sleeping.
No, like literally, I sleep too much when I can't catch up.
When you can't catch up.
Yeah, so it's like
So
what?
you're letting it take off on you then.
Yeah, so like okay, so say I'll give you an example. Say I have a project due on a Friday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. I really don't have a project, but we'll just say I do. Right? And let's say tonight I have to work on it and I'm just starting it, right? And so I'm pretty much using most of tonight to actually crank out that work. So because I'm stressed, one, tonight's work is gonna be shit. Like I'm not gonna put as much good effort into it. I'm just gonna try to get it done and get like most of it done. But then when it comes to actually, that next day where I'm supposed to like, fine tune it and revise it, then I'm sleeping during that time. And I'm sleeping too long. You see what I'm saying? So now I can't catch up to my sleeping pattern. So then it's going over into my work time. So that's what's stressing me out. And then I don't have a good product.
Does your sleep stress mess up your sleep schedule at all, or does it go back to normal once the stress is gone?
It fluctuates because I would say again, it depends on what type of stress it is. If it's a stress in a relationship, my sleep pattern is fucked 100% of the time, and it just won't go back. Like I have to find a new sleeping schedule. If it's school related, because I know school ends at the end of the day, then my stress, it slows down, and I can go back to that regulated, sleeping schedule and kind of getting in bed at the normal time. So yeah, and I would say like when you know that I'm stressed, if I start to bite my nails, I kicked the habit like maybe 5 years ago, and now I've noticed anytime I am stressed, subconsciously,
You bite your nails.
it's a nail bite, and it's not all of them. It's just one and little chip in the armor. You break the nail, and the nail's fucked, so you got to rip it off. And then that's how I can personally tell I'm stressed on the exterior level.
When you start biting nails.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I remember I think it was back in high school in our senior year. You mentioned to me that I forgot what week it was. It was like towards the end of senior year, and I guess I was stressed. I couldn't even tell I was stressed, but you're like, dude, you have a pimple on your face, and you're like, you never have a pimple on your face. What are you stressed about? And that's just like, ever since then, I know when I'm the most stressed is when my face starts breaking out. I'm like, I gotta relax. What the hell's going on? Cause that was because of you.
All right. So
It's
you're
like
welcome.
your nail biting thing.
You're welcome. I mean, I would take a nail bite over a pimple, but
Yeah.
but
Seriously.
okay. So thinking about that pimple, like, do you know like what type of stress is causing the physical like your face getting a pimple? Do you like is it school related? Is it a mix of school, your relationship, your home life, maybe your social group? Like, is it a lot of stress like coming from different angles, or is it like specifically one you can think of?
I can't. It's probably like coming from all different angles. Cause if I'm thinking back then, it was probably the lack of sleep I was getting that week. I'm trying to think what week it was to remember, but it was probably the lack of sleep I was getting. Cause I like to sleep. I have to get at least my 6 to 8 hours, and I'm good. If I get any less than that, I can tell that my face is starting to break out. If I get any less sleep than that,
Mm-hmm.
so it probably relates to my health. When my face starts breaking out. So yeah. But anything like ties into like relationships or like school related, nothing like I can tell when I'm stressed about that is when I start pacing a lot. Like I can be just at home by myself and I just start pacing. That's when I know I'm stressed about something. If it's like related to anything that's not sleep, you know.
Okay.
So with your stress, like, so you said you didn't know what was coming from it. Look, does like with your stress, does it like sneak up on you, and you just don't know that it's coming, or do you just like try to hide it while doing other stuff? Because you said you didn't know what the stress was. You just and Z said that you had the pimple.
All right, so can I answer this for him? Like, is that a thing? So like, I feel like with Luck, the way he deals with it, I'm gonna say it's his little samurai pride. We're gonna go back to this conversation. It's his samurai pride where he's like an edger. He lets things like get as close to the edge as possible on all facets of his life, and then that's where like the physical pimples come, because again, if you have a conversation with him, he's even kill. If you just watch him, like if you study his mannerisms, he's even kill. But then as he starts to edge and it starts to get closer and closer to like that point where he's really stressed out, then you're gonna start seeing drastic changes in his natural behavior. He's more irritable, he has a pimple, and then he wears his hair down.
I will say that you can't say that right now because people are gonna be stressed.
He's not stressed right
I'm
now.
not stressed right now.
It's just a bad hair day.
Just a bad hair day, but I will say my behavior does change. I am kind of more mean, I guess you can say, when I'm stressed out. Irritable. It's just, I don't know, it's a reflex, I guess, or it's like, I guess you can say a body language.
A defense mechanism.
Yeah. You get it.
I agree with Z and Lucky. When I get stressed, I sleep a lot. That's how I deal with everything. And then I also get irritable. I notice myself like catching attitude or like just being really mean, like unnecessarily mean. Like someone will just ask me a simple ass question and I'll just like snap, like because I'm just irritated. But like I don't mean to project my stress onto other people, and that's what I'm trying to work on actually.
So she don't got samurai pride?
She has Mulan pride. She has Mulan pride. So I got a question for you then, Asia. So then, would you say that like your stress when it comes to like small talk, like it's like usually you can deal with small talk, but when it comes to a point where you're stressed, you're just kind of like catty at people?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I'm chill right now, so if Z was like, oh, like, how was your day? Did you, like, and then I'd be like, oh, it was straight. And then if he asked me if I was irritable, I'd be like, it was okay. and then just not continue the conversation. I won't ask him how he's doing. I won't ask about his...
I will say one of the things that if you do ask me how my day was when I'm irritable or when I'm stressed out, I'd be like, fuck you care for? Fuck you. You gonna make it any different? Right. You gonna help change it? No. Right. Why you care?
That's how you know me and Lucky are siblings. We're assholes. Yep. But no, yeah, and then I feel bad afterwards. But like, it's nothing personal. It's really not.
Yeah, but I mean, in hindsight, the nature of conversation, small talk, is like the first step to even breaking the ice.
It could be like the littlest thing.
Yeah, so it sucks when, especially if you're stressed out and someone approaches you with small talk, because at least for me, I hate small talk. Like if I'm going to say, let's have a conversation, whether I'm stressed or not, I'd rather have a deeper conversation and actually get to know a person than knowing about how their day was. Because if I say, what's your opinion on something, and we can have a deep conversation about that, then you actually tell me about your day. Or if you actually wanted to tell me how you feel, tell me how you feel outside of this one day. Because it just happened today, and tomorrow you're going to live a totally different day. So how are you going, synopsis for this week?
Yeah.
Maybe. But, yeah, I would definitely see how small talk is definitely, like, kind of like a little knife. A little knife, just tapping you.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because, like, this happened semi-recently. It was, like, a couple weeks ago. I was at my nail appointment, and usually, like, I'm super, bubbly when I'm there because, getting my eyebrows did, getting my nails done, whatever. But, like, this appointment, I was just silent, bro. Like, I was on my phone because I was stressed, like, just, like, about everything, work, school, whatever, home stuff. And I was just silent. And then I felt bad because usually I talk to her. Because, like, my nail tech, she's my confidant. Just like y'all have your barbers and y'all will, like, talk to them. That's nail techs for females, right? So, like, I texted her later that night, and I was like, I'm sorry. I was just in a bad mood. Like, it was nothing against you. My nails look great, thanks.
Yeah, I agree with the first lady over there. Whenever I'm stressed out, I sleep pretty much the entire day. Like even if I wake up, I just lay in bed until I fall back asleep again. And then like with all you guys like with the irritable stuff like the small talk, like I think I let my stress build up inside me, like it just keeps piling up. And then like the littlest thing, like if someone just asks me like, "Oh, how's your day?" I'll be like, "Fine." Like, what actually do you want? Like, just tell me what you want. Don't have that small talk stuff. And then I feel like I blow up on unreasonable things, um, like little things that I didn't have to blow up on. It's like a kind of like a ticking time bomb. Like it just keeps building up, and then like one thing just sets it all off, and I just take it out on the innocent person that just happened to be there.
So would you say your stages of stress is like a first grade science fair project, the volcano? Like you are the volcano, they add a little bit of baking soda, and then you explode on the teacher.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. I mean, that's tough. That's tough. But I have another question to follow up. What is the reason behind you letting it build up?
I tend to not face the problems, I guess. Um, like I tend to put them away, like put them in the back of my mind so I don't have to think about it. Just keep trying to go through my day as smoothly as I can. But then like I can store if like other stuff keeps stressing me out, like throughout the week, throughout the month or whatever. I can only suppress that stress so much. So then it just keeps building up, and then I just let it all out.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put a pin in that conversation. We're gonna come back to that later. I promise. But yeah, I would say I necessarily I think I'm a little bit different in this space technically, because at least for me, I would say I probably have the least stress in the group, solely because I don't give a fuck about a lot of things, and so it's like when it comes to stress, and if we go through the subjects, if we go through friends, stress for friends. If my friends don't like me being how I am to them, they don't have to be my friends, but they still are. When it comes to my relationship, me and her, we have literally nightly to every other day talks to actually get through the type of situations that we need to talk about. And it leaves me less stressed when I don't have to figure out what's going on because we're constantly having conversations. And then when it comes to schoolwork, more so, it's not stress about actually getting the work done. It's about having, me pass certain tests. Because for me, I'm going to be a future educator, and I'm getting through everything. There's one test I have to pass, and I'm just not doing it yet.
I think that's one thing I hate about school is just like that one big test
Yeah,
that
because it's
defines
make
your
or
whole
break.
grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do all the other little things or all the other stuff that was in the semester, and then that one stupid assignment or one stupid test just like I can have an A for the whole semester, and at the end of the semester I get that assignment in and I bomb it, I have a C.
Yeah, see, I feel that, and the thing is with this test, it's not even academic; it's for a license.
Yeah.
You see, and so the crazy part about that is that like I could be stressed out for taking the test, but the reason why I'm just like, meh, should I stress out? Because I feel like if I was able to argue my grade versus actually taking that test, I should be able to win this argument. But because I have to actually take the test instead of having my grade, that's where the stress comes in. Because I have a 3.2. If I have a 3.2, there's no reason why I should fail this test. But it happens. So it's like there's certain things that hold you back that can cause stress. And then I guess, again, it's how you deal with it. I don't let it build up. And I do tell people, I'm like, yo, this wasn't okay. I bombed it. We're going to try again next time. And I mean, if I bomb it, we're having a shot. Like, that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's how I feel too. If I did good on it, it's a stress relief. It's definitely a stress relief if I did good on the test. But like if I bombed it and I know I bombed it, we're gonna relieve that somehow. Get the bottles, something.
All right, so I have a following up question then. So, do you guys believe that there is such thing as good stress?
Yeah.
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 Yes. 100%.
Since we're talking about like school, like you can use that like kind of test anxiety or stress or whatever to like push yourself to do better.
Yes, stress can push yourself to do better. It can also like show you things that you need to work on. You don't stress on stuff that you do good stuff at.
Right.
So you stress on the things you do bad at. So it shows you what you need to work on the most as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a positive relationship when it does come to stress. And I'm gonna go back to my girlfriend. My girlfriend stresses me the fuck out, but it's not in a negative.
Girlfriends do.
But it's not in a negative way. She is like trying to make me better as a human being, because I'm a very stubborn person. A lot of the time, what I say, I hope goes, and it just don't roll that way. Like, what I say goes hopefully 50% of the time, because we're trying to be 50-50 in a lot of the situations. And the stress between me and her is positive because I'm trying to change that mindset, because I know it's a deficit mindset if I'm just like, no, what I say is this, is end all be all, and that shouldn't be it. So I would say that's a very positive stress that's changing me for the better than actually making me sleep more, or stay up late at night, or bite my nails. So yeah, thank you, baby, for not making me bite my nails.
You don't bite your nails anymore?
Dude, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good. I mean, they short. I clipped them. We got a couple hangnails, but we solid. We don't got ugly hands no more. Because when you see a 24-year-old dude with screwed up fingernails, we got issues.
I know from now on when you start biting your nails that I gotta talk to you.
Hey, hey, we can have a table talk.
Yeah, I just want to do small talk. I'll just dive right in.
Yeah, dive right in. What's your problem? What's going on? Who the fuck I need to check? Keep that energy and we straight.
Makes sense. Do you feel like there's any bad stress? Or is any positive stress?
Yeah, what's good stress? Like, I mean, for me, like I said, it was my girlfriend. What's good stress for y'all?
Good stress? I would say probably big projects. Like, I hate them, but I like them at the same time.
Okay, big brain.
I will say this past semester, like, not the fall, this past fall semester, I had a lot of big projects to do. So, and I used to like save things till the last minute and get it done. Most of us do that, right?
Procrastination.
Like, yeah, procrastination.
At its finest.
But I saw out of my 4 classes, 3 of them had big projects. So I'm stressing about them like, fuck, they're like 40% of my grade. I got to get this in at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And what that situation taught me was I can like organize things and just like break it down on what I'm going to work on. And I was writing a paper I didn't even start writing the paper until like the day before it was due, but I wasn't even that stressed out about it because the months leading up to it, I had like everything broke down. Like I had articles on the paper that I was going to write on it. I had the article, a summary on it, and then what I can find from it. And then I had that like just jot down. So that way I didn't have to go back into the article and read everything at once. It was right there and I plug it in, pull it, plug it in, pull it.
All right, so I'm going to scratch procrastination. That's not procrastination, that's jigsawing. So the difference between procrastination and jigsawing is jigsawing, what you're actually doing is you're saying, you're taking it piece by piece.
Yeah.
You're creating a summary. So you've read it, you've done your research. You're just not actually writing a paper, because if you write the paper at each jigsaw point, you're not going to have a complete paper.
Yeah.
So that jigsaw is actually brilliant. I can see how that's positive stress.
Just started that because of the whole stress factor, and it definitely, if it wasn't for all that, I probably would have never learned that.
Yeah, and I mean, and technically, you're actually taking it piece by piece, so it's less stress in that way because you're looking at small chunks at a time to make an entire cohesive project. So yeah, positive. I'll take it.
My positive stress is my family. So I'm an only child, for those of you that don't know, and I'm a female. So that like makes a lot of pressure on me. So like when they're pushing me to do good in school and things like that, it kind of pushes me to be better, right? Like it's stressful to have all that pressure on me, but at the same time, I know in the long run, it'll do good things for me. Like it'll help me like secure my future, secure the bag, get a good job, things like that. So.
All right, so I mean, you said that your family is positive stress.
For the most part,
But you beat around the bush. So what about your family actually creates the positive stress for you? Like, is it the nagging that like you see as good, although it feels bad at the time? Is it them like saying, "Hey, you need to get this shit done"? Are they keeping it real with you? Is it like because again that bush, like what is it that they're doing that's creating the stress, but it's good, or what is it keeping you in the realm of?
Probably
Nagging.
Yeah.
The nagging.
The nagging, definitely. I think nagging gets to all of us. Everybody hates nagging.
Yeah.
But when you
it's
listen
just
to that
that
shit,
it makes you sit there and like, all right, you're right. Because
At the end of the day.
at the end of the day, yeah. But I say a lot of us we're stubborn, like you said earlier, and then we don't like to listen to other people. But then they wouldn't be saying it over and over again if they weren't.
If they didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because most of the time it's out of their heart and they actually want you to do better, or it's actually true to what they're saying.
100%. So positive strength. Yeah, man.
I think going off what like Luck said, like the positive stress about school, like if I have a test coming up or I have a project that I know is going to be like a big percent of my grade or just even a percent of my grade, I know I have to do well on that project or test or whatever it is to pass that class, because then if not, I'll have to retake the class. I'll have to spend more money on that. Then there's all that stuff combined. If I don't actually do well on the test or project or whatever, will add more stress to my situation because I'll be then a year behind. I'll have to pay more money. So then the stress of that test will limit me from more future stress that I'll have to do if I actually sit down and study my ass off or work super hard on the project.
I'll question you then. How is that positive? Like, how are you working through that positive stress? Like, what? Like you said, you have big projects. You have stuff that's like, putting fear in you, so you don't have to like repeat a year or stay behind. What is that positive stress like physically doing, or what can you name what that stress is?
Like, are you asking like how it affects my body or my mind, or?
Like, what is it? Because you said it's positive stress, but what is the stress?
I think it's the stress of me knowing that I'll fail that class, I'll have to retake it, so I have to actually take out the books, actually get down to it. It's just the overall thing about
All right, yeah. So I definitely feel that, and pretty much what I get from that is that you have a cognitive fear that's going to pretty much get you in a headspace where you need to constantly.
Go ahead, talk.
Where you need to constantly actually keep going and push through everything that you've seen and done to actually push you forward in school. So yeah, so I mean, you're saying fear is a positive stress, and that makes sense. And I mean, again, if you don't have to fear all things and have it be a bad thing, you're fearing it so it can become something positive for you. Awesome. All right, so then now, I mean, if we talk about how are you guys dealing with it, so we're gonna start with you then, Beat Out, because you said you let it build up. So, in what ways can you say you can better deal with your stress instead of letting it build up? Because, I mean, I would say the popular opinion is that is unhealthy. So, how would you? What advice would you give yourself to better deal with stress?
I guess to like face it head on, like don't put it back into my head or don't try to suppress it. Deal with it when you get to it. And then always have that thought in the head, like you can talk to someone. You do have friends. You do have everything else that you can supports you with that. If you do have to go through that, so that then if that doesn't work out, the stress, like I haven't done this personally, but like I heard from friends and other people, meditation helps. Just saying that, like actually for me, if I get stressed, I usually just lay down, close my eyes, take some deep rest for about 15 minutes, and then get back up and try to do what I was doing before. If it like really starts building up like that, so I guess those are my ways of dealing with that stress. Like,
Do you ever try to meditate?
for me, I get too impatient for that. So I just sit there like, cause I'm like, it's not, if it's not gonna work now, like, will it work in the beginning? Like, if the first 5 minutes aren't working for me, why sit there for another like 25?
You need to give it a chance.
All right, okay. Next time I'm stressed, I'll come to you, and we can meditate together.
All right, I got you.
All right.
And just because I'm a guy who does meditate, think about meditation like finding runner's high.
Okay.
When you first start running, it feels like shit. Like no one enjoys the run in the first mile. But the moment you can actually push through that gate and actually find runner's high, and you can run, like everybody that does a marathon, they're just running forever. And you're like, how do you do that? It's because they found that runner's high.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of how meditation is too, where it's like, you know, you got to sit, and then you're actually thinking about your body parts and how uncomfortable everything is. Like, damn, my knees hurt. Yeah, you're like, my knees hurt, how they little flex, my lower back. Like, so you start finding ways and excuses to get out of certain things that can help you.
Yeah.
And so it's like, again, meditation isn't for everybody. I'm not telling you guys to meditate. I'm not telling him to meditate. But you can at least try it once. But like an honest try.
Yeah, like give it a chance.
Yeah, if you give it an honest try, I think, you know, like that's something that potentially could work. Because again, if you're going to sit in your room by yourself, technically, if you're playing the game, you're technically meditating. Because you are thinking to yourself.
Yeah.
You are relieving the stress in a certain way.
You're not consciously.
Yeah, it's just not a
like
conscious thing.
Yep.
So,
When you meditate and when you do you, because when I do it, I feel like something's actually being lifted off my shoulders when I take that breather and like close my eyes. Do you get that feeling too?
not necessarily. Because again, I mean, like you can meditate for all like sorts of things. For me personally, when I choose to meditate, it's more so of prepping myself for the day. I don't prep myself because of stress. I prep myself for like goal setting. And I feel like if you do it in that way, then one, I mean, that relieves your stress overall because you're like, okay, today is Thursday, and I have to get A, B, C, D, E, and F done. You got 6 things. You got to get them done, but they're small and they're obtainable. And if you're actually planning them for that day, and like by the end of that day, if you can say, I got 4 out of the 6, I'll take that as a pass because you knocked out 4 things. You have 4 things done and 2 things to do that you can add to tomorrow's list. So that's how I do my meditating. So it's not necessarily something's lifted off. It's that I have a direction.
All right.
I have a focus.
So in addition to meditating, what else do you do? You stress?
I've tried yoga.
I love yoga.
I've tried yoga.
Don't laugh at me.
I think you know, going to a studio and having an instructor is a lot better than doing it at home by yourself.
Yoga is like similar to like the running though, because I didn't realize how hard yoga was until I tried it. Cause when you look at
thought it
people
was
doing,
easy?
cause you know they're just doing poses, but I was like, oh shit, like they're working out muscles I've never even like worked out before, and my ass was like shaking like really hard. They're like, can you just breathe? I was like, no. I was struggling, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, that yoga piece is actually really key too. And again, it comes with who you are as a person.
Yeah.
If you feel like yoga's your thing, then try it. Try it at home first to just see if you're comfortable with doing half the shit that you're probably going to do in a class. And then if you need, you know, explicit direction, like, you know, in a class, if a teacher needs to stand next to you and tell you exactly what to do, that's what the classes are for. And I like that format better because then it's not just me she's talking to or he's talking to. It's multiple people.
Right.
And then, I mean, being a fucking yogi is dope. If you can say, oh, I'm a yogi, you can get ripped just being a yogi.
You can.
Like, I mean,
You can get super toned.
you can get crazy tone being a yogi. And then, I mean, not say they don't have stress, but they know how to, like, put themselves in
Relieve it
position to relieve it in a healthy way. No, a healthy way.
Healthy.
So say it
I
right.
just made a new word.
Healthily. Brought to you by our first lady.
Sounds like when Z's trying to say adventures.
Yep, I swallow.
Or like you trying to say Millennium or San Holo.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
People
botch.
are
I didn't
previous
botch San Holo.
episodes.
I just got them confused.
Whatever.
So maybe the way we talk stresses you guys out. And I'm sorry about that. We'll get over it and we'll fix it. We'll work on those a syllable a day.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, try yoga, try meditating. Are there any other ways you guys? Because I mean, at least when I was in sports was a good outlet too. Being
Yeah.
stressed, physical activity.
Sports and working out was definitely a big stress reliever. I think more of the times when I am like really, really stressed, I want to hit the gym just to like
Exert that energy.
yeah, exert just all that energy that's built up. I'm just trying to release it, and like going to the weight room is like one of the best way to exert that energy for sure. Or running, even though I hate running. The one thing is, you are right with that runner's high. When I begin, like at the beginning of the running, it sucks to get started. But when I'm in a mile deep, I can just go. Especially the stairs machine. That's not really running, but the first 300 steps you do on a stairs machine,
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. But once you hit that crack, I can go for like 2,000. It's just like bam, bam, bam. But one of the things how I deal with my school stress, especially like I feel like I'm the only one that does this, but finals week, there's one weird thing about me. Instead of like sitting there cramming my books,
Time out. Unique thing. Keep going.
Okay, one unique thing about me, instead of just like cramming my book, everything I need to know, because I don't like doing that, because one, I learned that already. Like I learned everything that we learned in class by going to class, so I shouldn't need to cram everything. I just need to be able to like process it and think it why I need it. So I will go to like, I guess we can say a lounge or something, and play pool. That's one thing I really like to do during finals week, is shoot some pool.
But a lot of like professors would say that though, like they'll say if it's finals week and you don't know the material, like you're not gonna learn it in a week, which is why they tell you to take that week off. Like, or like when I was in school and I was in sports, they would like let us not go too hard when like practicing, because you're trying to save that energy for when it's needed the most.
Speaking, I never understood at track practice, Z, when our coach would tell us to go 85%. And then we'd be like, can you explain that to us? And then she'll go, it's awkward. You're going full speed, but not full speed. So it's very awkward. I'm like, I still never learned how to go 85%. It was either 100% or half-ass.
Right.
Yeah, I could definitely say that. I mean, and again, it's because I would say with that tip of going 85%, if you think about, again, if we go back to our talented conversation, I think 85% is like being talented. But when you think about actual running, if you haven't actually taught us how to professionally run, then there's no way we're going to be able to do something at a percentage.
Yeah.
We're either going to be able to do it half or all or none.
Yep.
There's no in between. There's no fluctuation, because you haven't taught us how to be a professional at it. Which, again, when it comes to stress, how do you actually manage it? If you don't know how to manage it at a professional level for you,
It'll eat you up.
like you don't know how to, take the edge off. You don't know how to meet it halfway or be an 85% stress reliever. Like you don't know how to do that because you haven't trained yourself enough to be a professional, like at that position.
See,
So
That's a positive take on stress, though. It teaches you how to relieve yourself. You can't know how to relieve yourself. You can ask people on what they do and see if it works for you, but not everything works for the same people, like for different people, So you had to go through it yourself.
yeah, like my opinion on stress would be stress is actually original. No one has the exact same stress and they don't take it the exact same way. Just like learners, there are multiple ways and different styles of learning, and so stress comes the same way. And so then it's like when we're telling people it's like a one-size-fit-all diet or it's a one-size-fit-all workout plan for stress, like it's not gonna work. But when you actually find out how stressful you are and what type of stress you're getting, and then how you can navigate to get through it, then you can figure out how that stress is actually going to roll off you.
For me, my freshman year in college, I worked out when I got stressed, and it helped a lot. I never understood it, but then I tried it, and I was like, oh snap, this actually works.
Just feels like boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom.
like literally I felt a weight off my shoulders. I think I had an exam or something, so I just went to the gym. for work stress, I just take a breath, honestly, because listen, my job is so difficult. Like, man, maybe I'll take you guys on a day in a life one day, but no, like on those really stressful days,
an episode?
maybe. So like I'll just sit there and just, you know, kind of reflect on the day, you know, take a minute to myself, collect my thoughts, and just take a moment. It's not really meditating, but it's kind of just regrouping your thoughts and, you know, kind of just taking everything in and just being one with yourself, you know what I'm saying? Stress at home, like I'll sleep, but that's not always the best outlet. Another thing that I do is I write. Writing has always been a really great outlet for me, whether if I was stressed or happy or anything like that. You know, it's always been, you know, a way for me to get everything out there, you know.
So, question. I have a couple for you actually. So with the writing, is it like a diary entry where you're reflecting on something, or is it that like you're just like spewing out how you feel in that exact moment?
Both. Depending on the situation, I will either write about why I'm frustrated or stressed or whatever, and then when I'm just doing it just to do it, then it'll just kind of be putting all of my thoughts down on paper.
Okay. And then a plug that I would say about writing. I think that's a good outlet because even if it's not like to be seen, I think, you know, for you to be vulnerable and actually accept who you are as a stressful person, to actually share that with someone, I think that'll be a good way to actually just kind of relieve it off you. Because I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and I was telling her, I was like, you know, you should write about yourself in a sense of you reflecting on yourself, or you having a conversation with yourself about a specific topic or a time that you were stressed, and then sharing it with a loved one. Because then that loved one can actually get that much closer to you and understand where you're coming from. Because if you tell me, oh, I'm stressed, I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know how to help you. And if I am trying to help you, I might be hindering you.
Right.
You know? So.
There's in my communication class, along the lines of writing again, my professor told us we did an assignment where we wrote about a conflict. Conflict leads to stress, of course. So we were told to write, the first letter was from our point of view on how we felt about the situation and what was stressing us, right? And then the second letter that you had to write was from who's ever the conflict's with. You write it from their person, like from that point of view, you know?
Oh, it's different.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yes.
That is a tough one.
So, yeah, when I had to write that second letter, it was definitely difficult, like just trying to think of, because you're fighting yourself, you know?
Yeah.
But it helps you see both sides and like makes you see like, is it really that much to stress about when you like, because when you see it from both sides of the perspective, you're like, wow, that's really it. Like, then it makes you think more. And then she says sometimes if it's like, depending on the relationship and depending how deep the conflict is, you can share that second letter with that person and see if you got it accurate. But sometimes you don't.
Yeah, no, and I like that because, I mean, you're ignoring bias. You're ignoring your own bias about stress. And when you're writing, if it's stress with someone else, whether it's a family member, it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, cousin, mom, sister, dad, teacher, angry boss, coworker, if you have to write it from their perspective, one, you have to ignore the bias that you have about them to even write that letter.
Yeah.
So that's one step. Like, you're accepting someone else's opinion about a topic. And I think that's a huge thing when it does come to stress because, again, we have that spotlight effect when we are under stress. It's like a spotlight's on us. We can't see anyone around us. And then that's how we don't know how to help. You see what I'm saying? Because we're in that spotlight and no one else can actually accept our spotlight. It's ours. And so I think that ignoring that bias and actually, you know, letting someone into your light is great. Or even you taking a step into the darkness and not really knowing what's out there and sharing yourself and being vulnerable going into the dark. I think that's a huge, huge milestone for anybody.
Yeah, that's scary. I'm not doing that.
She said no, we booting. It's getting straight booted. But yeah, I think that ignoring bias and taking the other person's perspective is valuable.
I think it helps you learn. It bonds the relationship too if it works the way it's supposed to work, depending on the person, you know. Not everybody's the same, as we already said that.
Yeah. but listening to music is also an outlet, you know. Oh, I also eat. That's really unhealthy.
Music be hitting. Music.
It does. It calms me down. That's why. I mean, depending on the playlist, you know,
You can
can't be
definitely.
bumping no Kendrick Lamar.
You can definitely feel like you can definitely tell somebody's stressed by listening to their music. Whatever they're playing, you're like, damn, dude, you trying to shout to me or something? What's going on?
Listen, this is that 2012 Drake, man.
Oh my
I'm trying to be in my feels, dog.
Yeah.
Take care.
Are any of you guys stress eaters? Cause I am.
I'm actually a stress cooker.
Stress
Really?
cooker?
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
when I'm stressed,
We're about to be at your crib.
I like to actually prepare difficult meals. Like I'll go shopping, I'll have all this.
Because like you're not focusing on your stress.
Mhm.
You're, like, focusing
Yeah, so you're
on
trying to put
the task at hand.
Yeah, and so like whether it's a steak and like people think cooking steak is easy, it's not.
It's really
People
not.
cook some real nasty steak or
I
some real
agree.
thick, chewy
It's
steak.
fine. Just put some A1 sauce on it.
Nah, I need my steak to be like butter.
Tender,
Like
yes,
I need my
tender.
shit bleeding. I like my shit bleeding.
I don't.
For all y'all that eat steak, well done.
Yeah.
I'm ruining the steak.
No, I like my steak to be like butter though. Like if it can butter off, we straight. I'm okay with a little blood. I don't need a lot of blood. But I mean, again, the reason why I would say I'm a stress cooker is because understanding the nuances behind it and whoever created it, I'm actually again putting myself in someone else's mindset
Right.
to actually cook that meal. And then something that I feel is relieving of stress is causing other people joy.
Oh, that's nice.
So if it's not for me, I'll cook for someone else, and then they'll be, experiencing that joy. If it is just me, I mean, I'll take a steak and eggs to myself any
Such a
day.
Great guy.
Yeah, so stress cook.
Are you guys fidgeters when you get stressed? Because when I'm stressed, I like start playing with stuff. Like even if I have a bracelet on, I start playing with that. I bounce my knee a lot. I just start tapping my fingers. Are you guys any stress fidgeters, or is that just me?
No, I just fidget in general. Like I just can't stay still. Like if you guys would see me, or like if someone was in the room, like I can't sit still. Like
Yeah,
I can't.
I think.
Lucky knows that I can't sit still.
I can't sit still either.
Yeah.
I just like moving.
Yeah, like so when we would sit next to each other at church, and the people beside both of us would like look at us to tell us to stop.
And
Like
I'm
shaking our leg or bouncing or just like
And I'll stop for like 10 seconds.
you said
and
then
go
we'll
back.
start up again.
Yeah, and
It's
I'm like,
bad.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never admit to being a fidgeter. Like that's just something I would never
But
admit
you're a
to.
nail biter.
I will admit to biting nails, but I would never admit to actually fidgeting.
No, I fidget.
I probably do. Like subconsciously, I feel like people do fidget some way. Whether it's their thumbs, their fingers, their tapping, their knees, anything,
Now.
wagging of the legs. But I will never admit to it because I don't ever see it myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever catch myself doing it, so I will never admit it. But I do catch a finger
Yeah.
snipping down,
Okay.
so that's why I can admit that.
Yeah, no, I'm very conscious. I do it subconsciously, but then like I catch myself and then, like even in this chair right here, it spins and I'm just
So you just
Turning.
if we just kept the episode on, you would
Yeah.
see this a few times.
yeah, I would.
Just
Just
a
a
couple.
time lapse of you swaying, stress.
Yeah,
I mean, that could be a
Or
new
picking up
dance
my
move.
phone.
The stress.
yeah, the stress. We're gonna have a stress steak dinner.
Ooh, you heard that first.
It's gonna be a vlog,
A vlog.
a vlog,
We
or
should have a-
mukbang.
Listen, we should
It's gonna be a
have.
muk-
Steak cooking contest,
I'm about that.
and then we'll record it and we'll post it.
Who's all cooking? All four of us.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the contest.
Oh my.
Yes.
And who's gonna be the judge? The two
Tech guy.
Abbies?
The tech guy, and the two Abbies.
Yeah. A squared and tech guy.
A squared and tech guy. Alrighty.
But closing the space here today, we talked about stress. We talked about how to deal with it. If you agree with how to deal with stress, put a like, subscribe, share with your friends, family members, cousins, aunts, and that one cousin, Terry.
Before we head out, I just want to say happy birthday to the tech guy. We're a few days late, but happy birthday, tech guy. We couldn't do this without you.
You are our motor. We give you a lot of crap, but we love you at the end of the day.
Yeah, you suck.
We cause you a lot of stress, so that's why this is
For
a
real, we
perfect
do.
video
This
Yeah,
video
to
is
shout
causing
you
a lot of
out.
stress. We had a lot of technical difficulties, especially on my end. I'm sorry.
Oh, look at that. Hey, Hey Z, remember what we told him before we started this episode? Don't forget who discovered you.
Yeah. So shout out Tech Guy. The space is finally closed. Till next time, we out.